pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dan Pillow.
Here.
Lisa Stafford. Here. Dan Dalton.
Here.
Ann Pillow.
Here.
Steve Dalton.
Here.
Pam Jackson.
Here. Council, before we get started, there's a couple things I wanted to do real quick, if you don't mind. One is introduce people, and two is give out an award.
What are you looking at?
Stand up. So I'd like to award Darnell Pate for his outstanding work and commitment to improving community relations between Addyston Police Department and our treasured residents, and also the pin that goes along with that.
Oh, thanks.
Want me to pin it on you?
Yeah, sure. You got
I'll get you a better looking. Which one?
We got it on video, so.
I just take those off.
Okay, cool, thank you, Steve.
Well, I know that. Make sure it's up.
You know, if you crash, it takes it away.
Yeah, if you start whining about it, we'll take it back away. Yeah, you're gonna have to, because that's in the way. Ready? Try this again. Hold it out so I don't poke you.
Oh, it's too late, so it's okay. I've been poked before. There's a vest under there too.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Nice job. It's for the community. Okay. All right. So the second thing, well, hi Bob. Oh, you're fine. And the second one I would like to introduce, we have two new auxiliary officers when we were talking about that before. First one I'll introduce you to is Cliff Wright, which some of you may know who he is.
Yeah, we know Cliff. Cliff, how you doing?
If anybody has any questions, or Cliff, did you want to talk?
What do you want to know? Clifford Wright, my name. I'm 21, currently going on 22. Oh, y'all caught that, huh?
Full head of hair.
I grew up in Cincinnati, a little community named Camp Washington. I grew up with Lisa. Don't hold that against me. But,
Hold on, one second.
Yes,
There's
sir.
something you're supposed to call her.
No, sir. It's kind of like the boss now. I can't do that. I got six children, 7 grandkids. Hobbies are listening to my wife and working in the yard in that order. I work full time for a company that we rebuild aircraft engines. We're the largest company in the world. I don't know what else to say. Mr. Phil Emeritus right here in his room. That's it. You got any questions for me? Love it.
Those that don't know Cliff,
Thank you.
he's got years of experience. He's been out since 1999. He worked at Clerk. He was a sergeant there before leaving law enforcement to go back to what he does now.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
And our other auxiliary officer is Stacy, I pronounce it Turk.
Hello, Stacey Turk. Thanks so much for having me. I was born and raised in Cincinnati proper, Hyde Park to be more exact. I moved to Claremont County where I have 17 years of law enforcement. During that 17 years, I spent 9 years investigating doctors with the State Medical Board. I do have supervisory experience. I was a police sergeant, road patrol. I retired from Goshen Township Police Department about a year ago, and I'm looking very forward to giving back as an auxiliary officer in my retirement. I'm currently a shift supervisor at Newport Racing and Gaming, which is a new gaming facility owned by Churchill Downs, just in Newport. I'm a day shift security supervisor, so I'm really that's just opened. Our grand opening was this past weekend, and I'm super busy with that right now. But I am looking very forward to helping out in any way I can. I'm very community oriented. I love a small community. That's where I started in Batavia in Claremont County, which is also a village, so I'm familiar with the village structure. While we didn't have a mayor's court because we were a county seat, everything went through municipal court. I am very anxious and excited to learn everything about this village and to learn about its residents. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we'll get back to business. We'll go ahead and do the minutes.
You have the minutes from September 21st, 2020.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from September the 21st.
Second.
Motion by Pam, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You received pay ordinance 10A. This was for bi-weekly payroll that was paid on September the 23rd. Total amount was dispersed from the general fund was $11,402.38.
I'll make a motion to accept 10/8/2020.
I'll second.
Motion by Pam, second by Lisa. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Can we go back to the minutes for a minute? The minutes have it at 9:20. Wasn't it 9:21?
It's 9:21. I will correct it. I did say 21 when I
Yeah, I
wrote it off.
just did
It's just
that.
that, yeah. But for the official website or whatever, it'll be the 21st. Then you have 10B. This is for accounts payable. Dispersed, the fire EMS fund was $307, general fund $6,394.41, state highway fund $210.03 for a combined total of $6,911.44.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 10B.
I'll second it. Motion by Lisa, second by Ann Pillar. Any discussion?
Yes. Item number 5, Lexipro, is that and he's gone. Is that the annual cost for that?
That was left over from the previous chief. That is what was voted on to do back like the beginning of the year, but for some reason it never made it to my office to get paid, but that is the cost.
That's the yearly cost?
That's the annual cost.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
On 10C, there's some changes at the bottom. The general fund should be $11,009.92. I picked up an extra $1,776.94 from the audit fees, but Steve Dalton, tonight when I come in, he showed me what was up. The fire fund, $1,700.
Sorry, Margaret, what was that number?
I'm sorry, $11,009.92.
Thank you.
The fire EMS fund, $1,776.94. Permissive auto fund, $2,397.06. Street construction maintenance repair fund, $2,397.06. Water fund, $3,140.24 for a combined total of $21,221.22.
I'll make a motion to accept 10C
Second.
with a correction.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Dan Dalton. I think that's what I heard.
You heard both of us.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Which one? I
Dan
don't.
Dalton.
Oh, I wrote Steve, but that's okay, I'll correct him out and put down Dave.
I heard them kind of at the same time sitting where I'm at. Any discussions?
Yes.
Go
Go ahead, you go first.
Okay. I just have a couple of points of clarification for myself. On item 3, those, I'm just trying to figure out why we would take part of this out of street construction and maintenance repair.
Because it's a part of the books. They audit all the books, they don't just audit like the general fund or anything like that. This hasn't been released, you know, hasn't been cut. I mean, you know, I was just trying to even it out because we pulled payments from all funds.
Permissive auto would still be another one. Okay, I mean, if that's what we do, but I know some of those funds are not that healthy, or apparently they haven't been. So I just thought that would be something to take out of the general fund.
Street construction maintenance and repairs got about $27,000 in it.
Oh, that's good to know.
And permissive is got a high number in there too.
Great, well,
Because
thank you, I appreciate that.
Well, we was paying maintenance out of the street, out of general, and not out of the other two.
And we
So,
also budgeted to not hit those accounts too hard this year because they were running at a deficit at the end of last year, so we were trying to let funds build back up into those accounts.
Well, why not just take that, that's what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is the funds have built up back into the accounts. That's what we were trying to do. As long as I've been, and this is really a council decision, but normally everybody pays for the audit fees. It's split across all departments and all budgetary line items. The general fund was not budgeted to take the full brunt of our audit expenses.
Okay, that's fine. That's a good explanation. I can deal with that. I guess my second question is related. Are these audit fees for 16 and 17?
that for the number 3, that was finishing up that audit.
And at some point, can we have a complete amount of money that we have spent on all of these audits?
Yes, but I can tell you that it's not really released yet because of the investigation thing.
And you mean what's not released the cost? We have to...
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that amount there is supposed to be for the audit. Then there's another cost involved that's going to be for the investigation thing.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get in.
Okay.
Yeah, that
and
one just recently come into light.
And I'm not even concerned about that. I just like a to-date
Or a tally
number
today, yeah.
of
I
how
can
much
do
money
that.
we've spent on the 16 and 17 audit.
You just want 16, 17? Just the 16, 17?
Yeah, and well, I understand that we're already getting invoices on 18 and 19. And does any of that stuff come to us for okay before we spend all those monies?
We haven't spent anything yet on the 18, 19.
None of these have been paid yet.
No, I'm talking about 18 and 19. We have some audits on there also that we're paying for, don't we?
We're in it, but we haven't got the bill. I haven't seen a bill. Have you
No.
seen a bill?
But don't we get a document in the beginning normally?
It's the letter that
Yeah.
they send out, it's a letter like of commencement for the audit. That's the thing they send out, and they send it out to everybody and it tells you this is what we're going to be doing.
Okay, so the services they've done, like the audit in the Mayor and Aaron's mayor's court, that they've already done, I assume they've done some pre-audit in your place?
It's not finished
We
with Aaron.
don't have a bill for those.
It's not finished yet because it's something to do with
I know exactly what's wrong with that account, and I need to get with her, and we need
the
to finish
local,
that
the
out.
local
And I'm not
government
concerned about
office.
the accounts or the dings on them. I'm just trying to see if we're getting, you know, if we're getting bills for things that we didn't really know about as yet. That's all I'm asking.
I don't if you didn't even bring that first initial letter.
Well, everybody got it,
It's sent to her.
Yeah.
It was sent to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know that those were part of the main audit, these pre-audits that we're having, like to prepare us like we did before. And I don't mean to belabor this, but I'd like to have a clear picture of us being aware of the audits and if they're okay to spend a pre-audit for $4,000, $3,000, or whatever they are.
It's not really a pre-audit, it was to go through my system to see if everything was in the right account codes and to help get my books reconciled because the treasurer and I never balanced.
But it wasn't a part of the overall audit
No,
that we spoke about.
That was first, and
That's
then, thing to do with Mayor's Court is that, and I don't know how it happened, but for years, apparently, it was never really audited the way it should have been.
Mhm.
The same way with me, with the CPA that was doing it, and I shouldn't say me because it includes the treasurer too, and the water board, anything that does with the finances. But no, things have been brought to council, and they've sent stuff to you that says, you know, it's like the pre-agreement or the pre-engagement letter or an engagement letter. So, but no, there's not a problem in giving anybody a final count.
Although, while we're on the audit, one of the things that came up in the finance committee meeting, we're still, so they're doing the investigation into the Board of Public Affairs for the, and we just got, I believe the bill is roughly around 29,000. So part of my thing is we are getting, like, we're losing a decent amount of village revenue and getting audited for all kinds of stuff. And like, I was wondering, like, the forensic
The motion on the
audit.
floor right now is for the pay order.
Sorry about that.
So we're gonna go into
That's all.
discussion.
Okay. It's just we're talking
That
audits
is
and
not
I'm
part of
like,
discussion. I mean,
Yeah,
the
okay.
tally, yeah, okay, we can get you the tally.
Good, thank you.
Is there anything else on the actual pay order?
Yeah, there was
Okay.
something I had a question on. On the Cincinnati Enquirer bill, how long does that run that for?
2 weeks.
Okay.
It was in the Sunday paper, it'll be in the 7th this week, and it'll begin again on the 11th. And that's a requirement, that it has to go for 2 weeks. Am I right,
Okay.
Mr.
And it
Kelly?
has to go in the paper, it can't be put out there somewhere else, it's not as cheap.
We're
that's
advertising
cheaper.
for the pathway and walkway
That's
and the
This is something
roadway
we've
through county
discussed
money.
before. Is all the money we spend on the Enquirer when I think there are other ways that we can advertise things. And that's just ridiculous to
Well-
pay that for an advertisement.
I think we've advertised this stuff
All
many
right,
years
now
and
we're
many
going out of
times.
scope
It's
of
always
10.
been
Right.
required, and we've always had to put it in the Enquirer.
We have a
Maybe
motion on the
circulation, if
floor
something
for the
changes, we're happy
payment.
to do something differently, I'm sure.
Okay, I just had a question
Okay.
about it, that's all right.
Bob, can you elaborate on her
Call for the
question?
vote.
On her question as to, we still have a question on the floor.
No.
That is
I'm
not
good.
pertaining though,
I'm good.
when we're going out of the scope about the advertising itself. We're on
Oh.
what was paid for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well
that's-
paid.
Right.
A lot of things
All right.
cost a lot of money, you'll find.
Call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
yeah,
Pam Jackson.
Yay. Did you have any other questions about the advertising? There's no motion.
It doesn't
Hold
matter.
on just a minute.
Just because it's the way it's always been done, doesn't mean it has to always be done.
Yes, it's.
I certainly asked that question.
Hey Bob, would it be possible to get, because I feel like we go back and forth to advertisement, we've been down this road several times. Is there a way to get like a definitive, almost like a paper copy that we can reference about when we have to advertise in the paper versus when we can advertise digitally?
You can. The real question on this, that's community development block grant. That's correct. That's the triggering issue for it. So, but no, you can, and I will.
Okay, that would just be helpful, because I feel like we're trying to, like, if we don't have to advertise in the Enquirer, we really don't want to, but like if we have to, we have to.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
But
expensive.
certain things you want to make sure you get it targeted to where people read it and don't just read happen to get on your website. Yeah, so you can.
Well, and one thing about doing it this way, it gives like the building trades and other people who, you know, read the Enquirer or online and that, there's other newspapers that will, you know, like pick that up that is not a charge to us. So we got that done.
You have anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
You received the Addyston Board of Public Affairs minutes from their special meeting that they had on the 29th. They passed an ordinance on their water clerk, her salary, and specifications of the job duty. So you should have received, it should have been on your packet stuff. It was their minutes from that meeting.
The minutes I have was from August 10th, which I printed out.
But I do have the public affair ordinance that they signed.
Did they write up the minutes on that one?
Yeah, she did do minutes, and I thought it was only one page. Thought I included it.
Did you say the water board?
Yeah,
Yes, I didn't.
Yeah.
We have the ordinance though.
it's just the ordinance.
Well, they did present an ordinance at a special meeting, and 3 board members did adopt it.
You need a copy of it, Margret?
And it was also passed by them on September the 11th of 2019. The most recent one, though, includes the days of the work hours and about the substitute or fill in
That's
for
the
the
one we
village
got.
secretary
Yeah.
with the work hours.
That's the ordinance that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the language that was in there.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, you guys should have the most up-to-date one.
But I think Mr. Kelly prepared one for council too, because council needs to take action on it too.
Just to approve it because they want it for the state auditor.
Right. Did you want to do that now?
It's up to council.
You want to do that now or wait for McWhorter? I mean, now she brought it up, it's in front of you. That's
sorry, say
the
that
last
again?
thing that you had.
Yes. Council has to either decide if you're going to concur or you're not. That was the purpose of you having the ordinance too.
So we don't have to pass the ordinance, is what you're saying, with the board? We're just going to say, yes, we concur with this, or do we have to?
I prepared an ordinance for council
Okay.
to signify their approval in case the state auditor wants it. Because essentially, depending on which auditor comes in, which you did right the last time, it's wrong this time.
So you have the ordinance?
Yes, I did. I sent it,
I printed off a copy for everybody.
Everybody.
I have 2 copies.
If it's the same thing.
That's why I get so confused.
No, it was put in front of everybody when you come in tonight.
Streets and
Street housing?
you don't have it?
I don't. It's so far off.
Yeah, I'm on it.
No, I know I did.
They're all in front of Bob.
I'm sorry, they're in front of Bob. Something else that I was doing.
We know how this one.
Well, no, because sometimes I print them and then Bob prints them and,
Do we need some donuts then?
yes, because I don't have one. and-
Here's another.
I need one, Bob.
Here, here, I don't need it, I have it filled with.
There we go.
Are we all situated now?
Sorry about that.
Do we need to do the 3 times?
That is up to you guys, council.
Well, the other thing, what's the effective date for the pay raise?
As far as I know, it's gonna be if it gets adopted or not. They didn't have a date on it, they just said we had to go to council.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that the rules be suspended, said ordinance be read 3 times by title only and declared an emergency.
Second.
Motion by Dan, pick one on your side. I hear an and, okay, Dan. Any discussion?
In who's, this is just, it's hard to serve 2 masters? You have the, currently the water board clerk would report directly to the president of the water board, correct? Okay, so what happens when the water board clerk is serving in Aaron's role? They report to you, is there a clear chain of
Yeah,
command so we
we've
don't
actually
end
had a
up
long
in some
discussion
weird
about
quagmire? Does that make sense?
Yeah. We have actually discussed that, and I think we're both on the same page with that.
And the second question is, I guess it'll be just a matter of what we decide, what the board decides. It says she'll work up to 32 hours maximum. If she's in Aaron's position, she may work more than that. I assume if Aaron's off for a week, she'll work 40 hours, or should we?
We can manage with the 32 for enough time.
That's what I was gonna
but,
ask, if we could break it down. So that's.
The main thing is just to keep the court rolling and information updated, and then Erin can catch up on whatever she wasn't able to do during that time.
Thank you.
Along those same lines, that's negating that we will or won't be paying overtime if there's extra involved. If she has clerical duties with water board and then picking up for Aaron, what happens if she goes over 40 hours a week doing that? Or will that not happen?
It has to be approved. So current policy procedures, all overtime should be
I mean, she
approved.
really shouldn't have to. Erin
Well, I didn't think so, but I just
Yeah,
covering,
that's pretty simple, really there.
dotting the i's and crossing the t's.
Anyone else? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
I'm sorry, Ann, did you say, yeah. Pam Jackson.
Yay.
That's all you have needed.
That's to suspend the rules and read
I
every
just want to make sure we're on that.
First reading an ordinance approving compensation for the position of Addyston Water Board Clerk and declaring an emergency. Second reading an ordinance approving compensation for the position of Addyston Water Board Clerk and declaring an emergency. Third reading an ordinance approving compensation for the position of Addyston Water Board Clerk and declaring an emergency.
I move we accept the ordinance as read.
Second.
Motion by Lisa, second by Pam Jackson.
She hates me tonight.
Any
I'm
discussion?
looking at you.
I think I picked you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be even. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Okay, this one is going to be number 10.
I don't know if we have any other ordinances.
Okay.
Since you started.
This is the Addyston zoning regulation. zoning code book. This is the old one, which goes back to 68. The first one was 54, and this one was 68.
Don't we have
What's your
one?
total?
9.
Please?
Yeah.
You were one from 2009.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you have the property maintenance code.
No, they went through the ordinance book because that's what you
Through
got in your
this
hand
one?
with all the sticky notes on it. That's the original from the amendments, and then a copy of that was given
one?
out.
That's a zoning books.
Yeah,
These are zoning.
yeah.
Did you
It
go
was
through
done.
the
There
zoning?
was a book, I think it's 2009.
Right, that's the,
There was a green book.
That's the international
this one?
maintenance.
We were working on one 2009 last year. or year before.
There is an International Property Maintenance Code from 2009,
Mhm.
okay,
Yep, aware of that.
please.
Yeah, I was aware of that. They're
Now-
at the same time.
You're talking about this trailer, and there are multiple provisions in your zoning code that address that issue in terms of businesses under the definition section. But I was going through this thing and reading it. There's another provision for junk storage and sales, salvage operations. Any lot, land, or structure or part thereof used primarily for the collection, storage, and sale, and it discusses the items,
Okay.
which
Well,
is one of the
that's-
things. But you get into off-street parking definitions, etc. But really, when you get into the use regulations, and that's zone business, correct, Dan?
Yes, sir.
The permitted uses are retail business, personal services, business services, offices and banks, restaurants, hotels, social activities, professional activities, commercial entertainment facilities, semi-public uses, public service facility, essential services, accessory uses, public uses. There's not one of those uses that fits those trailers, okay? Then if you go further and you look into the landscaping or screening provisions, for non-residential uses abutting an R district, the minimum yard may be reduced 50% of the requirements, okay? That's one thing. But then it also specifies the requirement that fences be provided. Lots having frontage on more than one street shall provide the required front yard along the major traveled street, 2/3 of the setback on the other street. So when you're talking about 2/3 of the setback, what we really need is we need to have the housing inspector take this zoning code and go apply it to that lot specifically and what's going on that lot. Then it also requires an access driveway that's 20 feet in width, okay, for the storage. I haven't seen one of those.
They do have one, actually.
Please,
They do have one.
Over here?
Yeah,
20 feet?
I would imagine it's 20 feet.
Yeah, it's in the front, isn't it?
Right on the side.
That's where the buses used to come.
On Bowman.
It's gotta be 20 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on 52, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's one of them.
It's like
This
turn
was the
around.
one they went through and marked
But-
out.
What I'm saying to you is,
What year is that?
there is enough in this zoning code
A year on it, but I know you went through it.
to remove those trailers. And the other thing is, let me look at this one, which is 15801. Signs and outdoor advertising structures. And if you ride down US 50, it's kind of, you can't believe it. Signs not exceeding 12 square feet, so a 3x4 sign. An area and advertising the sale, rental, or lease of the premises on which the sign is located shall be permitted on any property. That sign doesn't fit that category. An announcement or professional sign for home occupation, that doesn't come in. Bulletin boards, even if you look at it from the standpoint of a wall sign pertaining to a non-conforming use, shall be permitted on the same premises of such use. But those signs that he's got there don't advertise anything that's going on that property. They're advertising stuff that's going on down the street on the property. And all the signs exceed the permitted size requirement. It says no building wall shall be used for display of advertising except that pertaining to the use carried on within such building. So I know that there was a lot of stuff about whether these trailers or buildings or whatever, but in temporary signs not exceeding in the aggregate 50 feet, so 5 by 10, announcing special events or the erection of a building, architect, builders, contractors may be erected. And the only thing that I'm saying is, if the housing inspector wants to go through this thing, there's enough in the zoning code to have those trailers moved or cite the owner of the trailer to court, plus all the junk that he's got on the property. Yeah, I mean, I've got a booklet, not a booklet, but I've got ordinances this thick that I'm going through and trying to wade through at the present time. That's why I started pulling this out. And in terms of the zoning code, I'll come over and meet with Dick Weber, but the zoning code, I think council should take a look at that in terms of the fees that are in there and the restrictions that are in there, and just really take a look, send it to Laws and Ordinance or something, and really update it.
So you haven't talked to Dick?
Yeah. Yep. But I'm willing to come over Thursday. He comes in on Thursday, right?
Yes.
So we have got to resolve this. This keeps going on and on and on. This is crazy.
Well, the thing that I'm saying to you is, you could issue, you know, there's violation sections in here. You can issue the violations, but if you're using Dick for the dual purpose of zoning enforcement and property maintenance code, he's got to get out of the purple book and get in this green book. And if he gets in the green book, he can accomplish what he wants. If he stays in the purple book, the property maintenance code, I mean, it's obvious the guy has junk on his property over there. You know, he's storing whatever he can over there.
That was a simple premise of what we've been trying to do for the last 4 years.
If not longer. For other issues.
Deal with that, yeah, once we got through the
I was wondering
legal.
about that, because I know the letter was sent to him back before, a while back,
Right.
Before I was even sitting here.
You know
Council,
what?
and he gave it to his lawyer, and then what happened?
I know. I've got this book. And I've got it marked. And where I have it marked is consistent with what I'm telling you tonight. But I had this book marked. And I know at some point we've discussed the issue, but I really think he ought to just issue a citation and be done with it.
So is the problem with our building inspector?
Well,
If the documentation's there, what we need, the laws are there basically, why are we going through this?
well, you're going through it because you have a building inspector and your zoning code says that it has to be a zoning code enforcer. So what you have to do is
So a police officer can do that?
well, no, not necessarily. But what you have to do, Dick would be the one that you would want to do it because he
Obviously
will.
not.
I have something. Pam, in the last meeting we had on this with zoning and.
Right.
Dick sent a email, I think,
Yeah, he did.
and he gave us some wording that needed to be added to the zoning code to make it possible for him to do this job. I don't have that with me tonight. Do you have it in your?
No, I didn't.
In your email?
There was an ordinance sent out on
It
that.
was something to add.
Right.
He said this, if you add something
Yeah.
at this point, this should take care of it, but I don't have it with me.
Because that's what he says he needs.
And how is that different than that book?
I
See, that's why we're not, that's not our expertise to
I
know.
didn't know we
had-
We hire
Let's try
people
again.
for that.
In other words, what I'm saying to you is, I've got the purple book that I'm going through, plus all those ordinances that I'm going through. And I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, can you take action now? Because essentially, when you blend all those ordinances in, you're gonna have to send them to law and ordinance. That woman comes to council and she wants something done with it. So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, I think I found out that it was zone business or whatever, but you know, when you start looking through this stuff, permitted uses in business areas, and then you have highway and general business.
My question, if it's already there, why doesn't, I know you can't answer for him, that's why we need him here. Why isn't he using that? Why have we got to this point?
Because he's really a property maintenance person and.
Not a zoning.
So we have a zone code and a maintenance code, two separate.
Correct.
And this is all coming from the maintenance code?
No, this is coming from the zoning code.
Zone code, okay. And then, can our officers, I don't remember.
That's what I just asked.
Yeah,
If it's codes.
But I thought at one point our
Ticketable
officers could be
codes.
empowered to enforce certain things.
Certain things, but certain things they can't.
I'm just confused.
Right here. I've never seen a police officer enforce a zoning code other than at the request of,
The building inspector.
or the zoning officer. Because normally what you have in the building department, you have like the chief building official who's in charge of zoning and construction of premises. So, if you look at a traditional ordinance book, you'll have zoning and then you'll have property maintenance. And it's really just a matter of sitting down with Dick and doing the property maintenance. And I was just going to tell you that I really think you really, at some point, I know it's probably going to cost you money, but you should really have in-house training, okay? Even if it is on a Saturday or whatever, you should schedule in-house training for the policies and procedure handbook. You should schedule it for the police, you know, like once every 4 to 6 months. I mean, I'll come over. I mean, I'm not going to charge you or anything like that, but just get them in on a Saturday so you can train them. And the other thing is, what's really, I really find it hard to believe, even now, but when the old chief was here, he had the amount of money he had in his drawer. I really find that incredible to this day that he would have that there, you know, with the policies and procedure handbook and everything else. And I mean, just to reinforce that there's only certain people in this government that can collect money. And in terms of collecting money, you know, you got the treasurer, you got the clerk, and you have Aaron, who should be collecting money. And other than those three, or the water board clerk, nobody else should touch any money. I mean,
I agree with that, Bob. But we're away from what we really need to do. And I'd just like to make it clear tonight with your advice. Get whatever we have to get done to get that lot cleaned off. Dick, you and Dick are going to meet this month sometime. You know, that's what we said in the last meeting, because you're going to change zoning. And I was trying to find out what that zoning was going to be. But if this is what will get it done, if that book is what will get it done, do we have an update?
I thought we had, the committee went through this one. That's what all those yellow tags are for.
Right.
I just grabbed this off of my bookshelf, and Ann said she remembers the blue book, but we looked on this, and the date on this is older. But I know that you have done this, you know, at one time.
But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if that's what we need to do, let's get that done, and when we come back next week, we should have this thing, or next month.
I'll come over Thursday.
If that's what we need to do, get Dick to understand what he has to do according to the book that you have now, we can get that done. And
Should laws and contract meet at the same time with Dick and Bob, so that we know?
I think so.
If that's who's doing it.
What's his hours on Thursday?
Well, he usually doesn't come in until like 10:30.
Leaves at about 4:30 or 4 somewhere.
All right. I don't know what you mean. I could do it Thursday in the afternoon after, say, 12:30. I don't know what you're scheduled about.
Who's your third member?
12:30, is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, I know that's what my schedule is.
I don't have my book here, but I could send it over, and if I've got a clear afternoon, I'll come over at 12:30.
Thursday.
12:30 Thursday?
Or where thereabouts.
Hang on, let me double check. But I should be.
And
Yeah, I at this point, that looks real good.
yeah, because if I was this lady, I would be suing Bill.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm sorry.
There she is.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. I think
It's
that
going on and
was
on and on and on about this.
This was going on before she even got there.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good.
Is somebody gonna reach out to Dick to let him know this is coming?
I
I
can,
will.
or she
Oh,
can.
yeah. I will.
Pam
No
should
problem.
Pam's the chairman.
I'll do it.
She got it, so.
I'll prepare a list of what I think we can do
Okay,
off
that'd
the
be great.
zoning code.
That way he can write it up quickly.
So we're looking at the 8th, right?
Yeah.
October 8th, 12:30-ish.
Margaret, can you post that?
Yes.
So you didn't have any more.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
Audrey, do you have a report?
I do.
All right. I'll go to the treasurer's report.
Everybody has the July report in front of them. I'm going to, I think everybody can read, so I'll just go along if that's okay. The total control
Might want to write them on here.
council funds. With all the ins and outs, our starting balance for July was $176,906.16. Our receipts in were $106,734.15. Our expenditures were $82,586.55, leaving a council-controlled funds ending balance for July of $201,053.76. That, in conjunction with the water board ins and outs,
Total grand combined funds. Beginning balance is $281,229.52, with receipts $134,137.81. Expenditures being $123,367.94. Ending balance for the month of July across the board is $291,999.39.
Make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Lisa. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
I'll try to get through what I've got pretty quickly here. First thing I wanted to bring up, are we actually going to allow trick or treat this year? Because some of the news channels were putting together a list and times and things like that. We're going to allow the kids to trick or treat on Halloween 6 to 8, or did you plan on doing trunk or treat, council, one way or the other, or nothing?
All I know is for the last 3 years, we've sat on a porch with candy there at the bottom of the driveway. Nobody's ever showed. Everybody's going over to Sailor Park where it's black.
I know.
For Triple Crown, I think we can still do it, but I don't think, like you said, we'll have any kids.
Just
Usually
allowing
not.
any, they're just putting a list together of places that are trick or treating.
Right, you can also go on that one website too and put your house there. I tried that and that didn't work.
That didn't even work either.
It tells that that house is giving out candy, that neighborhood.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Is 6
They don't
to
want to
8
have some candy, I guess.
Is 6 to 8 the official time that they're announcing everybody should do it, or?
No, it's just the time that most communities do it. Most communities have
I was
a time
thinking more
listed
like 5 to
6.
7 myself, because at 8 o'clock, drinking people start coming out,
And
and
this is gonna be on a.
On a Saturday.
This year.
so I was thinking more like tell if,
No,
you know, it's okay to trick or treat from 5 to 7.
Are there certain guidelines we should be posting, like distancing or anything like that? So if we put it out to the residents, let the residents know we'd like to do trick or treating, if you feel comfortable.
Just observe CDC guidelines is really what you need to know.
And the second year we're gonna do the haunted house is another thing. Because if that's going on, then it may help to do it earlier.
Well,
That's
yeah.
another thing.
Did you say 5 to 7 for the trick or treating?
I think that's
council's
better.
consent
Yeah.
On a Saturday.
I'd rather have a motion.
and a motion. Yeah, could somebody make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan.
And what
second
was
by
that
Pam.
motion? I'm sorry.
That's
Trick or
for
treating
allowing the
from 5 to
Halloween
7.
trick or treat.
Okay. Thank you.
5 to 7 since it's Saturday.
Okay.
Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I did want to discuss the haunted house too, because I've been, see, Dent's open, a lot of haunted houses are open. And since we have an enclosed type area like Dent Schoolhouse and other places like that, what they're doing is you don't enter without a mask. Before you're allowed to even enter, you have to, they're taking people's temperature. If your temperature is above, then you're not allowed in. They're taking a few cleaning precautionaries, but I actually wanted to take it a step further to, you know, really give us the opportunity to open this, like have masks, and also like I want to get some boxes of those food service gloves so they can just slap them on before they even go in, and a mask. And then of course we have to wear masks too.
Well, they go to the haunted
I guess the
house.
reason I think about that food service gloves because we went to a Chinese restaurant that stayed open with a buffet. And each time you walk up to the buffet, you get a new set of gloves to put on so nobody's touching the same thing.
Do they, when they go through our haunted house, do they touch anything?
Normally they don't. Usually they're like this.
Even in the daytime.
I mean, there's not anything that we have that we've ever put that's been interactive where you have to touch anything. Just like we tell our scares even, no touching. You have to keep, you know. And then even I went through a lot of the different haunted houses rules, you know, because of the lack of social distancing. Like, the guideline for the masks are if it's impossible to social distance, you must have a mask on. But if you can social distance from somebody, it's not. But see, it's just required. I would make it required for a haunted house.
So like if they come through as a group, just keep the groups 6 feet apart.
Well, like it'd have to be, like, say if it was a group, it has to be a group that came there together. You
Yeah,
can't
no,
just
I
say,
agree.
oh, well, I'm gonna take you and group you with these people. And then we have to chalk out the line coming out every 6 feet and keep the groups at every 6 feet.
I mean, we just went to Kings Island this weekend. That's pretty close to what they did in the lines. They had little stickers on the ground, you stayed 6 feet apart. The rides, when you're actually in the seats, they were all spread out, every other zigzag. You had masks on the whole time. Now, I will admit, I was actually kind of comforted that they had mask Nazis. That literally their job was to patrol the lines in the parks. And they would, like, so if your nose was hanging out or things like that.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty much what we're doing at the schools. The kids are 6 feet apart. You got to
Maybe
maintain
because
a
this
mask.
is more of an indoor event, that's why I would be, pretty much nobody enters without a mask, without temperature check, and gloves. Suit up to go in.
We have the equipment for the temperature check?
No, I'll be doing that right there.
Like, do we have?
We have one of those where you know how there's 3 of them. 'Cause I went to Newport
Yeah, I
Aquarium.
just asked if we had the stuff.
Like
to do
Newport
it.
Aquarium's open, you go in, with the line, you gotta get your
Yes.
temperature check, put your mask on, and gloves are optional there. But I think they should be mandatory in this.
We do have the temperature guns already
There's
available.
3, yeah.
That's
You have
what it says.
sanitizing stations, right?
Yeah. You have to have a sanitizing station at least in the door and coming out the door. We've got more than enough to go all the way through that haunted house, really.
How long is the?
I can have one squirt automatically as they walk through.
How long? When they go through the haunted house, how long of a trip is it?
Hose them down with it.
It's like 5 minutes.
It's like 5 minutes.
Oh, you mean to get through?
Yeah, when they go through.
It's about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes them an average 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
By the time you get all the way through, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure you want to, I don't know what the gloves are going to affect in a 5-minute window if you have hand sanitizing at the beginning and end. The gloves are just going to generate a large amount of trash.
No, like I don't have a trash can at the door.
No, what I'm saying is it really going to make a big difference? Now, if it makes you feel better, it makes them feel better, but the gloves seem like
I mean, I
a
can
little
make
bit
it
overkill.
optional. I don't have to make them wear the gloves, but the mask and the
mask
temperature check.
The mask has to be on, and they have the option to sanitize when they come in and when they leave.
And when they leave, yeah. So they can sanitize their hands before walking through and sanitize when they leave.
Then do I need to move that we have the haunted house with all of those
I definitely
precautions?
prefer to have that in the motion if council wants to allow it.
Then that's my movement.
Second.
Motion by Lisa to allow the haunted house, second by Dalton. Is there any further discussion?
Can we amend that to have the precautions we just laid out?
Yep.
That's what I said in my motion, was with all the precautions.
Okay,
that we
I'm sorry, I
just
didn't hear
discussed.
that with all precautions.
Yeah, because I was thinking of printing out one of the things and putting it down there as well, because some of those sites have it posted like what you have to do to enter
And
the haunted house.
when did you want to do this? I mean, we just, one night.
Oh, yeah. Friday, Saturday, since it's on, Halloween's on a Saturday, and Friday and Saturday.
You're out.
What do we usually do that? We have a motion on the
Because
floor
it
first.
was always
Wow.
Halloween, so it was
Is
after.
that, you gonna amend that motion to reflect the hours in the whole?
Yeah, we can do that. We can amend the motion to reflect everything.
It was always after the, trick or treating. Because it fell during
It was always weird, I don't know.
Well, it's 5 to 7, so we can start at 7 on Saturday. We can do 7 to 10 is usually what we do.
Yeah, 7 to 10, Friday and Saturday.
Entry fee, cost,
Huh?
cost to go in?
Whatever council decides to do,
What's been the norm for that?
$3 to $4.
Do we need any extra supplies or anything to do it this year, or do we have everything we need? I know sometimes Chip used to ask for additional things every once in a while to make it work.
Possibly, but I'll bring that up after this one.
I'm sorry. Oh.
New guys can handle it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're fine.
New guys can handle all the setup and whatnot, because I know there's been, okay.
Well, RJ used to work at the Dent Schoolhouse, so he's well versed in all that.
Okay.
I know ours is a little unique because it's a small space with a lot of narrow things. Will we leave it that same way?
I'm
With the
having to
narrow
spread it out a
passages.
little bit.
Yeah,
More.
simply because it does get congested occasionally, just because we have those pathways without that wide. So,
Well, it keeps them in a single file
it
line.
does. Mhm.
And they're not by people when they're going through it like that. So
Mhm.
it's keeping it, you know, separated. And plus, I wouldn't let a group go through. I'd pretty much do the same thing
Mhm.
that I did last year. Is take a group on halfway through before another group even enters. What motion would be on? To allow the haunted house.
To allow the haunted house.
Okay, starting at 7 to 10 on Friday and Saturday. And did you guys want to, what's the cost?
I don't remember.
3 or 4, I don't know.
Either way, you guys pick one, flip a coin.
How much money do we normally generate when we do this?
I really don't know off the top of my head.
I guess what
About
I'm at,
$229.
I guess what I'm asking is,
something
given
like
the
that.
year it's been and trying to increase community awareness, I mean, it doesn't seem like we bring in that much money anyway, and we're doing it because we want a fun environment. Is it worth it just to say we're not even going to take money? It's open to our community if you want to come down and be a part of it.
I only say that most of the people who go through the haunted house are not from Addyston.
Right.
Pretty
In that
much.
case, make them pay.
Fair enough.
Support.
We get a lot of people that are not, that don't live here that come to this. And it could be even bigger this year.
$4.
Eric?
So that'll be 4 then.
Yep.
And from 7 to 10, Friday and Saturday. All right, that's your motion, Lisa?
Yes, I amend my motion to accept the
All
haunted
that.
house on Friday and Saturday, October 30th and 31st from 7 to 10 p.m. at $4 per person with sanitizer at the beginning and end. Masks are a requirement, temperatures being taken before they enter, gloves optional, and social distancing.
And that's seconded.
Email me all that, would you?
Sure will. I wrote it down.
All right, motion by Lisa, second by Dan Dalton.
Ready?
Yep, take a vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
All right, also, the yearly permit needs to, Duke sent us the information for the yearly permit we usually get for the Christmas lights. What is council's pleasure on that, to go ahead and, it's this one we fill out every year for, you know, our poles.
The
and things like
temporary
that. Permit.
boxes.
Right.
It usually costs about $2,500 is usually what it cost us. We get that usually in January, the bill.
For the lighting, yeah.
I make a motion that we, thing with Duke for Christmas lights.
I'll second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Pam Jackson for the Christmas light permit. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay. Okay, the other thing, Chris Fay had called me from Tram. I don't know if any of you are aware, but the church across the street is closing. And they want to know if they can make their new home at the firehouse. They wouldn't need the whole thing, of course. They also mentioned that they would want their own electric, they'd want to do their own repairs in there and everything like that. And that's not, I'm not asking for any kind of votes on any of that, just I'm bringing it to you guys.
Who is Tran?
Our
The food
food
pantry.
pantry.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna be homeless by the 31st.
But it's the Three Rivers Food Pantry by all the
Right.
churches in the Three River community.
So I don't know if the committee wants to pull that and take a look at it and see what, I don't know what committee would.
I would make a motion that the committee, Laws and Contracts Committee, meet with them and kind of bring back to council a proposal.
Same time or a different one?
I would make that a difference.
Yeah, because I think what we're gonna be doing is gonna be quite involved Thursday.
Yeah. That's gonna be more
Okay,
like
by me,
workshop.
pick a date.
Somebody second it?
I'll second.
Oh, sorry.
Motion by Dan, second by Lisa. Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
All right, that's all I have at the moment. Go to council committees. We'll start with Dan.
Thank you, Mear. I don't think we okayed the Board of Public Affairs real minutes from August.
She didn't, she just gave us an ordinance. Did
I
they
thought
provide minutes?
I thought I sent out the special minutes, but I may not have
We
picked
don't
it
even
up
have
when I
them to
was.
approve them.
It was just the special minutes from the meeting where they met and they adopted that ordinance.
No, I have so maybe we already did this.
So we did
Maybe I picked this up
ordinance.
somewhere else. This
We
is,
did that last.
Yeah, we
Last
did
I may have
that.
picked this up somewhere else then.
Okay.
Okay.
There was
We should
stuff
have
from the
only had a
last
special meeting.
I thought it was in our
We
packet.
didn't get
I'm
it.
sorry.
Just have her add it with the next packet for the
August.
water board.
So we already did August
What's the
10th?
date on it, Dan?
August 10th?
August
Yeah,
10th would have been the last council meeting because they met.
Okay.
You'll have the regular meeting minutes, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Must have picked that up. I thought it was in my packet. Okay.
It might have been in your packet.
Council, I have a couple of items that I need to run by you this evening. One, bring me up to date on the Community Development Block Grant, CV. That is the one that we had to do the bid packet for. I think, Mayor, did you get your copy of this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to really go through it.
Oh, well.
I mean, I saw
It's a lot of fun reading.
Yeah.
It's available at the clerk's office as well if you want to look at it. This has all the specifications that I put together for this particular grant. This grant is available. I've had 3 people email me asking me for the grant online. I didn't want to tell them I wasn't that sophisticated, but it's not online. They have to pick it up here at the building. If anybody should ask you, okay? So it is out. It went out yesterday for the first day of advertising in the inquiries we discussed earlier. So we're getting. I suspect we're going to get a lot of bids on this particular project. The bid opening for this is October the 29th. October the 29th at 3:30. The grant deadline for this whole structure is October the 31st. So I am asking that council meet briefly on the evening of the 29th so that we can select the bidder. We'll have the bid process going on. We'll look at the lowest and best bid, and we'll bring those to council as a whole so the council can approve it. And then on the 31st, we have to have this in as part of the overall grant process. In the meantime, between now and then, I'm going to continue to work on with the committees and everybody involved on the other components and their eligibility. Swings, lights, drinking fountains, all those things, we'll need to put those together. I'll work on those and keep council in the loop as to what I'm finding out on those prices, and if in fact they will be eligible to go in to the same request application. So that's where we're on that. So council, if you will, or the mayor wants to call a special meeting later, this is pretty much a schedule we'll have to stay on to make this, get this bid in on time, to make sure we have plenty of time to get it into community development block grant people. And that meeting can be as early as possible.
Now, did you say that you want the meeting on the 29th, or that's when the bid?
The bid openings are that day at 3.
That day at 3.
Oh, and then you want to have it that evening?
That evening, so the council can approve, you know, look at the bids, look at the ones that are lowest and best, and because we won't grant the bid that day, we'll just look at them and pick out the one that is the lowest and the best, and then the council will get an opportunity to accept that bid or reject that bid or see the other bids as well. Okay?
Council, did you want to go ahead and schedule that October 29th at 7?
That's fine. Any motion or?
We can do it as early as possible.
What time do we want to?
Or, I mean, whatever time.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you guys, go ahead and do what you're going to do.
Are we gonna do it at 7 then?
Whatever time you guys decide.
When's the big close on that day?
3:30.
3:30.
Yeah, we should be done by 4 o'clock.
Could we make a motion, maybe we do it a little bit earlier, meet at 6? To look at them? Is that too early?
That's fine with me. Oh, at least it's
Yeah, I can do 6.
6. That's good.
So
I
October
must work
29th at
later
6
than everybody
p.m.
else.
Is that okay then?
I make a motion for October 29th at 6 p.m. to meet for a special council meeting to look at the bids for the grant.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lucy Stafford,
Yeah.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Jackson.
Second item I have is the mandatory meeting for the Community Development Block Grant. The mandatory meeting was for our participation. We went there and I sent council the information concerning the Community Development Block Grant. It's a 3-year cycle. That's a different. Normally, we are granted about $25,000 to $30,000. Normally, I don't know if they'll have more money like the CDBG-CB grant was, but we'll.
That was impressive.
I really,
Seriously,
I was
just
too.
impressive that you rattled that off as clearly as you did.
Yeah, but anyway, this is different. It's a 3-year one, and we need to start formulating our ideals. The application deadline is November 23rd, so we have a little time on that, but we really need to think in terms of, you have all that information, so we won't have to go through that tonight. It's a lot of information. And on December the 7th, they will notify the communities of their, if their grant has been accepted. So they usually are, as long as we stay within the eligible guidelines. We don't have a problem with that particular grant. So
You said that's roughly how much money, Dan?
it's usually 25 to 30,000. I'm thinking, unless they have more. We've been done 25, 30 pretty consistently. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we met with LISH, and I can't tell you what that acronym stands for, but it's...
I was wondering if it was a typo or if it was, because I didn't know what it was.
LISH, it is local incentive, the S, I'm not sure, but for housing. I just can't get the S right, I'll figure that out. So we met with them on a Housing Our Future group. That's one of the things we've been trying to keep you in the loop with the Housing Committee. September the 24th, we had a virtual meeting, and we had people from Price Hill Will, Coleraine Avenue groups who were sharing their innovative ways of improving their housing in various areas. And they had some pockets, of course, you know, many of you might know some of the pockets in Price Hill that they turned around substantially. Coleraine had, I forget what the name of that section was in Coleraine Township that was really rough houses built back in the early 50s. It had turned into where many of the people who had lived there from that time were happy, but then there were all these, same thing that we have, landlords, vacant landlords who don't live in Addyston. Many of them don't even know where Addyston is if you'd ask them. But this is what this program is going to be about. It's going to be about strategizing for the village of Addyston to see what works best for Addyston. And it will be an inclusive strategy. It won't be, you know, this guy says this or somebody from the county says this is what you'll do. Already they've assigned us, because we've been chosen as one of those 6 communities that they're going to work in to do this housing strategy. They've already assigned us to ask people within the community if they can talk with them and get their feelings about the village, having lived here. So we are working hard to get a very diversified group. Lisa has some people she's going to do. Ann's going to have some people she's going to get this information back to them so they can kind of get a head start on this. This is a long process. It's not a quick process. We won't be building houses next month, but we should have a strategy within the next 6 months that says this is the best way to go about it. They are excited about Addyston because of the diversity within our community, not just with the diversity of people, but the diversity of housing that is available. And you'll see, again, from the street committee kind of combined, the work that we're doing and our focus and what we're really trying to narrow in on as a committee and bring it back to council. But the thing in talking with them is that they have clear understanding that we have areas where we can literally build $500,000 homes, and we have areas that with no houses on them that we could literally almost build a community within the community. You know, just areas that are so expansive without houses on them. So they're excited about what we'll bring to the table, and I'm excited about it, and hopefully we can work hard, get this strategy in, and get some houses going up in Addyston. At least have a plan. At least have a plan. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you much.
Thank you. Lisa, do you have anything?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you, Lisa. Dan?
At this time, I have to get with Don over the policy and procedure stuff again.
No.
But he's been working with all that other stuff.
Finish that up.
Yeah.
So that way you can review it. That took a while.
Yeah, as soon as I can touch base with him on that, we'll
Okay.
set
Thank you,
something
Dan.
up.
Aaron, did you have anything?
The only thing I had was to thank the police initiative for giving us the booth on popcorn and cotton candy. And that was successful.
That did do well. Better than I thought, actually.
If I may chime in as well, I think there's a lot of hard work that was put into it. you know, a lot of hard work, and I don't know where you got the sound system, but I'd like to use it sometime.
Yeah, she did a great job, by the way, up there.
Yeah.
Thank you for our entertainment for the night.
Darnell really worked hard.
Yeah, he did. He
worked
did a
hard.
fantastic job.
Not to say that a lot of people didn't, but I was able to watch him work very hard. And I thank you.
And we need to thank you for hustling up those donations too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Ann. Steve?
Finance Committee met last Thursday on the 1st. I emailed everybody a copy of those notes this afternoon to go over the highlights. So we did start an internal audit process, and then about 2 hours in, we decided we needed to take a break. We were getting through January is where we're still at. We're still kind of working through, not that there are any issues with anything, it's more just being able to wrap your head around what our treasurer does, what the clerk does, and how that all reconciles with the actual bank statements. And I'd like to say that's a very clear process, but it's really, there's just a lot to look at. So we got into that. We think we figured out a process that hopefully our goal is we'll be able to come back to council with at least January done and say, here's what we did, is this what council's looking for, type of thing. The other thing we met when we discussed, we've been doing all the fund adjustments by ordinance. But what we send downtown is like, we send downtown, here's what we're spending out of the general fund. We do it by all our funds. And so we are creating ordinances that I don't think we necessarily need. Like Hamilton County doesn't need to see them. It's more just for our own internal tracking. I still want to have some paper trail when we adjust funds. So like normally what we're doing is like, for example, last time we took funds from one spot to be able to cover Aaron's longevity pay. Or like the fund adjustment I'm going to request for tonight, we approved the police tires for the cruiser, but the money that would cover that needed to be moved from its current line item to where we take out things for the cruisers. So it's more just internal account keeping than anything. So the request, the thought was, could we just like, for example, I normally put that information directly into the minutes, or we can have separate documents that just say, here are the funds and transfers by this date. But is council okay with that versus generating ordinances for every time we're transferring funds within the general fund? Council's pleasure on that.
Personally, as long as we have a very transparent movement of the funds, whatever's legal, I don't have a problem with, in other words, if you're saying, if in fact you take money from, I don't know, any fund.
Like for example,
police fund,
tonight we want to move funds from employee reimbursement in the police account over to motor vehicles in the police account.
Within that particular fund?
We've done it by resolution in the past.
Oh, even within a fund?
We've been calling it amending the appropriations. You're not really amending the appropriations. The amending of the appropriations is either if you reduce the overall amount of what you said the appropriation was, or you increase it.
Absolutely.
We've done this before by resolution, and we've done it 2 meetings ago, I believe, or 3 meetings ago, when we moved a lot of it around.
Yeah.
When we met the other night, no one could think of what it was, but then when I went upstairs and looked in the resolution book, that's what it is, and that's the paper trail.
Okay.
And I have checked with Tammy Dessel down at Hamilton County and talked to her and said what we're doing, and she said, Maggie, only if you are changing that total amount.
So like the entire general fund, if we were changing the actual number for the general fund itself. Because that's all we send downtown, like what we approve is the general fund, it's the street sewer maintenance, it's the water fire fund.
So you're saying that if you needed to take money out of the police department fund and put it into maintenance,
we would still bring it to council.
Right.
Council would still approve it. There would still be a paper trail for all fund transfers.
Okay.
We just don't have to make it an ordinance and an appropriation adjustment.
But still in all, I'm asking that it be made a resolution, because the next turnaround with the auditors, I'm not gonna be slapped on the fingers again, just because we moved the money and we know we can, as long as it's a lateral move within that division and the general fund. I just want supporting evidence, and we started out doing this with resolutions, so I think we should continue with the resolution matter.
Okay.
So are we okay with doing resolutions versus ordinances? Is really what this comes down to.
Absolutely.
As long as
I think
there's
that's
a paper trail.
Bob,
Yes.
is a resolution, it's like, it's, the ordinance is a permanent. There's a difference.
Yeah. And a resolution is similar to, this is council's intent. An ordinance is a law.
Yeah. So see, that's, like I said, I know that we've done that, because when we first made the movement where we did the medical thing, where we reduced all that, that was in a resolution format. And I personally, as clerk, would rather see us keep that, because as I said, I or whomever's in this seat has to show them why you did that.
A resolution's like directory, okay, and an ordinance is a command. You know, in other words, it's a law. Whereas a resolution is, like they have a resolution if somebody passes away, okay? But you have an ordinance for something, like on transfer of funds, it's all in like 5705, 14 to 40, which discusses all the transfer of funds. And those are normally always done by ordinance.
So even if it's a lateral move in
No,
ordinance,
that's different. We're talking about account codes within a fund. We're not talking about like taking and doing something from general to the fire fund for this purpose. We're just talking about either reducing the allocation or increasing the allocation within that division.
But it all still balances out. We're really just shuffling things around to meet the needs of council.
When you appropriate money, you have different keys for all those monies.
Yeah, all the codes.
So when you appropriate that money and pass an ordinance, okay, your ordinance isn't broken down into codes.
No, it's not at all.
It's just by fund.
Yeah.
And then you come back and fill the various keys, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's why that doesn't require an ordinance.
Okay. And a resolution would suffice for that? Or could council just accept the finance committee meeting notes that have the recommendations in them?
They could accept them, but you probably should.
Do the resolution?
Correct.
Okay.
Because it covers you with the with the state auditor, and if the state auditor says, how did this get done? If Margaret's got a resolution to pull out and put down in front of them, that's as opposed to going back through the notes and playing the tapes for the auditor and increasing the cost of the audit.
Okay. So I will come back next time with a resolution to transfer funds, be able to cover the tires for the police department.
Why don't you make a motion to have the solicitor draw up that resolution and bring it back?
So you're just saying, while we're discussing this, that the police department doesn't have enough money in its account for the tires?
No, it has enough money in the account for the tires. The problem is, like, for example, tires have to be coded against a specific code.
Okay,
That code doesn't have enough money in it to cover tires.
I see.
So we have to move it from one of the other codes down to cover the new tires. Otherwise, we get in trouble because then we put tires in the wrong code and I'll email Bob the information, that way he's got all the right codes and everything.
Well, can we figure out some way to get tires on the car today?
Council's already approved the expense.
Oh, okay.
We already took care of that last council.
Okay.
This is, council approved it, but then I was looking at the funds while you were approving it, realized we needed to move stuff around.
Okay.
So it's one of those, like, a lot of times council just says, yeah, do it, but we don't really say where it's coming from or how we're doing it.
Sure.
So I was just trying to double check that.
Okay.
The other thing that I just want to bring to everybody's attention, October 15th is by 3 p.m. all PO requests for the remainder of this year need to be submitted to the clerk. So that's from any department, any expenses. And so after October 15th, unless it's payroll or an emergency, we're done. So please try to look ahead, try to think about what your foreseeable expenses might be for your various divisions, departments, and let us look at that. The other thing we're asking is while you're finishing out this year, October 15th, email to me, or asking for your budget proposals for next fiscal year. My goal is to actually sit down with the mayor and our two big department heads next week to be able to kind of look over stuff and give them a rough idea of what we've done in the past and let them kind of do their thing. November 15th, again, we're hoping to be able to come back with a rough draft for council to look up, beat up, and then hopefully have it approved where we're not doing a continuance this year. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Steve, I may not see you between now and the 15th or even talk to you, but I'm still concerned about our raises for our employees that they didn't get this year, when we only have 2 people that we're talking about. Maybe 3 now, but two that weren't, and that's we really talked about getting Aaron a raise up above. Up above her present salary, and also Don. Those are...
Well, part of the big thing that I need from council or police committee or laws of contracts, or our police department doesn't have a structure as of, like, we have a structure, but who's filling those spots? Like, we have not discussed what kind of package we want to put out to be able to attract a new police chief. Let's be honest, that's going to have a tremendous impact on what the budget is, what we put out there. So those are things we need to know. As soon as the COVID stuff settles in and the cash flow settles, the goal is to take the existing budget and roll it over. For the most part, it was a good budget. Things aren't going to change too much. We just got hit with the COVID and we weren't sure how that was going to play out. We're going to, as we start, like for example, everybody gives us their POs, what they need for the rest of the year. We'll be able to kind of have a good idea how we're going to end the year and what things look like. Then we can come back and maybe look at trying to implement raises earlier for Aaron and things like that. We'll also have a good idea of what our cash flow looks like in terms of how much money's actually come in. It has not been forgotten. It has not fallen off the wayside.
Yeah, because it's a year. I mean,
no,
we've been talking
understand.
about this for a year, and we just, I mean, are we going to be able to do something from behind? Because we did promise them.
We
promised them a 3% raise early on when they got rid of their insurances, and they did everything we asked them to do.
We did.
They took their insurance and no insurance and this and that.
And we
promised to give them a 3% raise, and
we were also hit by a pandemic at the same time, and a police chief that was selling firearms. Yeah. We incurred things we didn't predict. Like I said,
I understand.
We have not forgotten, and when things settle down and we've got a clearer picture, we can bring it back to council and say, here's what we're able to do, and let council make its decision. Right now, we're still, again, trying to let things settle down. Please?
We had a whirlwind of crap at the start of this year, so yeah.
And it's trying to make sure that we're still able to make payroll, we're still able to do things we need to do for the village.
Right. Right. We got to figure out a way to keep our promises too.
Steve, is that all you have?
That is all I have.
That was me, Mayor, that prolonged that conversation.
As first committee, I don't have anything, but we need to see when we can set the laws and contracts, discuss the tram issue. So when are you guys available, other than Thursday? What time's good?
14th is the only thing I know that I've definitely got booked all day. That I can't make at all.
And any days?
I'm good, I think.
So we're talking this week, next week?
What's convenient for you? You're the one watching kids. I just have to.
I have new hours, I'm free at noon now.
As long as I'm out of here by 2:30, anything during that day is fine. I have to go pick up kids at 2:30.
Yeah.
I am not good on the 12th. Otherwise, let's see what's happening on this other day. The 12th is the only day I'm not available.
So you want to do it this week or next week?
Well, if we're going to be Thursday, we're going to be doing this stuff with
That's
Dalton.
at 12:30. That's the 8th. Yeah, that'd be on the 8th.
So next week then?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I said 14, she said 12, 13.
13's fine with me.
What time?
And what time?
2 o'clock.
What time you
That's
gotta leave
not
on?
good.
Yes.
Unless we can get out of here in half an hour, because I can't, I have to go get,
So Pam's not available until 12:30, and you have to be gone by 2:30.
yeah, 12, that's 2 hours.
12:30? I'm gonna do it at 12:30.
12:30 works for me.
12:30, I get
Good
30.
number.
That's fine.
Sounds like a lunch appointment to me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's October 8th, you might want to have yourself some lunch. So that'll be October 13th at 12:30.
Right, you can park that.
Yeah.
Close that park.
Park it right out there in the window.
Right, if you would please. Do we want to do candy for Halloween? That's another issue. If not, I mean, I don't know how we're gonna do it. Most places saying you shouldn't touch, they shouldn't touch. Or should we just forget about it this year? And use it towards the sanitation and cleanup of the haunted house. Since it's used mainly outside residents anyhow.
I think you could probably lay it on the long tables.
I don't know.
And they're
I
already
mean, the
packaged.
candy's wrapped, so you
They're
know.
packaged and the candy's packaged, so there's 2
Usually give out
packages.
little candy bars,
You
so.
know you're supposed to go home and wipe it all down before you let
Yeah,
your kids.
that's what I'm saying. We're really not supposed to.
I mean, yeah, I'm good with that.
That's right.
You usually
Um,
go through that first.
And not only that,
Then you have to take them to the
Also,
hospital, X-ray.
I don't know what Chip's asked for in the past, and I really don't know. I was gonna ask maybe if you could set aside $500 for expenses. Maybe for, I'm not saying we'll spend any of it.
Yeah, so I think that last year, because I try to be thrifty on
Because
it.
sometimes he has to get new plywood or new
Yeah,
floors.
it seems like
Things like
it's
that.
been a few $100s, I think, she asked for. I don't think it was 5, because I think it was
Well, we
5
wanna
for the
make it-
candy.
No, just for the candy, she's talking about
Yeah,
overall, right?
overall.
Oh.
Yeah, other things.
Yeah, you,
Yeah, I'm talking about like construction, maybe if
Yeah.
we need to replace some things, paint, decoration type stuff, nails.
Well, you didn't have the Easter egg hunt, so you could use money from that.
thought
I
we
mean,
took
there was
something out
some
there.
money
And we take
spent.
some of that
We took
out
some of
though
that.
for the
Yeah.
Already.
commemoration for
Yeah, we
the
did.
Yep,
playground.
we did.
That was $159
We
and
done
some
stole some of
cents.
that. And then there was like 67
That was
already.
159.
Yeah, like 67 already.
And yours was like $66 and some odd cents, rounded up to 67.
Yeah, we can use that candy that's in there.
Sure
Seriously.
did like that.
It's
Yeah.
not big candy bars, but whatever, can make little treat things.
Oh, the
What's
Easter
wrong with
candy,
that?
it's not that old, yeah.
I don't remember what it is, but I know there's some.
Well, it's just that we couldn't use it because of COVID, that's
Oh,
the
I
issue.
understand.
I'd eat it.
Yeah, I would too.
He's like, is there, yeah.
Where's that?
I think we're all okay with eating it. but-
Without trying to move anything around, just going with what's roughly left, we have about 350 unaccounted for out of the current line item in the special event.
Special events.
How much would you use
Unaccounted
candy
for or
bars?
available?
I don't know.
Available, so 350 that's, we have not tried to spend or,
It's usually about 300 if I can get a deal.
Oh,
It's not cheap, candy's not cheap,
No,
it's
it's
$1,
not.
something
Sure
up,
they can.
a bar, we get the big one.
Yeah, later. I'm trying to figure out a way where you can get the money from. That's why I asked you if they could
oh, you mean like for,
reuse
yeah.
it.
Because I mean, well, you can have the candy and some of the things I guess will not have. Well, there is plenty of the plywood, but sometimes they break or we need supports or things like that, nail screws and such as that. Will I spend anything at all? Maybe not. I don't know. Until we start pulling down everything that we can find, is what I'm saying.
so if we go, would 550 cover it? Total 550?
Oh, for
No,
candy, that
Candy
probably,
and
yeah.
what you need, would 550 do
I
it?
think so. That's probably more than we'll need actually, but
That's with candy.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not looking to spend, this is just to get it up and running. I think we've got enough creativity we can handle.
Yeah, and also to bring up last year, before you told that up there, we did get pizza. I don't, for the people that work there, is that something we want to do? Because I don't think we asked in the past, but, or maybe we
Because in
did.
the past, it was not paid by the council.
Who paid for it?
Dan did.
Oh, 'cause I thought that we did.
I mean, I don't mind doing it, like I
Yeah.
pay for it,
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
big deal.
so. And we may not, who knows, let's see what we got going on and, I mean, I can use my own money, I don't need to use county
Yeah.
money.
I don't mind chipping in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do this for that too.
I'd like to make a
Just don't put it out
motion
there.
that we allocate $550 out of the special events fund for the Halloween expenses.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by
Dan Pillow.
Dan Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yeah. That's all.
I have two more things before we go any further. That's all about. So when Chip retired, the street commissioner sort of just fell back on me, not that I was getting paid for it, but the title did. I would like that title to go to now, the now supervisor of maintenance.
I make a motion that the street supervisor assume the duties of the street commissioner.
Second.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Lisa Stafford. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan
Yay.
Pillow, Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
And the other thing is the community policing initiative we got rolling with our police officers. They'd like to do a movie night in the park on October 25th. Do I have that right? If that's okay with you guys to do that in the park on the 25th, and a movie night for kids.
25th, that's on Sunday.
Is that on a Sunday? Sunday night?
Sunday before Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it should be dark enough. We're gonna do it as soon as it gets dark.
Yeah.
What time did you say?
What time was on that thing?
I believe it's at
I think you said 7.
7.
We've, we don't fall back yet, it's after that, isn't it?
That's 6 to 9:30, I'm sorry.
I make a motion that we allow the police initiative to do their movie night.
Second.
Motion by Lisa, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yeah.
Is there a liaison between council and that particular police initiative? Is that separate completely?
I would like them to be recognized. I've asked council that before, to have them recognized as being part of the community policing initiative. I have passed out those packets in the past explaining what it is, what it does, and it's about the officers getting with the community and doing like little things like that. Like when they gave out food, they gave out shoes, they did coffee with the cop, and just, it's about getting with the community.
Yeah, certainly understand that and appreciate that initiative.
Right.
Have we accepted it though? Like, have we, like, kind of like how we did
Like,
with
I think they
Drive,
should,
or-
like, when there's events or anything, obviously they need to work with the events committee.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like any
saying.
kind of events, but something
What
like
is
a
it?
movie night, I think that's something that's, the police officers would like to do that for the community.
Right.
There's no question about it. I just wanted to know if there is a liaison.
And also, Lisa, I know that we got all the information from you. It was taken to laws and contracts, which was turned over to the police committee, which didn't get any further. That's why.
Oh, is that where it went?
I wanted to push it through to us just to make
Because I'd
the
like
initial
to acknowledge
thing
that
on.
we're actually doing this,
Right.
because it's an actual thing communities do.
Right. Well, I'd like to put a motion on the floor that we recognize that the police initiative, and I know later there's going to be some rules, which we've already had so many events already, that it's kind of a moot thing, but we still need it in to be
Yeah,
recognized
I
by
should put
council.
that packet together.
Can you do it a resolution like we had We Thrive? Something that I can fall
Right.
back on, because when the auditors come in, they're gonna wanna know how this money was allocated for them to spend and
Right.
all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't,
Resolution.
resolution, we can do that.
I
Just
mean,
so
I
that
can
it's
get
on
stuff
record that we do
involved,
recognize what you guys are already doing, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, there's no
No
question
doubt, no
about
doubt
that.
about that. I'm glad you are out in the community and doing what you're doing. It's just to protect us and so we know what's going on. Basically, we're on. Yeah.
So are you gonna ask for resolution or just?
Yeah, we'll get a resolution then. So we can bring that back. Chip?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been on.
June 30th.
Also, did you make the motion to do the resolution, or did you
Yes.
make, okay.
To do the resolution.
I'm sitting here trying to think, okay, you make a.
I'll second the motion for a
Okay,
resolution.
thank you.
We need something.
Okay, motion by Pam Jackson, second by Steve Dalton for a resolution. Any discussion?
If some of the information that you have, maybe just pass it on to
Pass it
Bob.
on down.
Throw his legal stuff in there and it should be good.
Okay.
One.
Give me my packet.
You know.
Yeah, call, ready for vote?
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We can't adjourn. Yeah.
We still gotta hear from the department head.
It's been a long.
I'm
Good
sorry.
try, Dan, good try.
We still have the
Ready
chief.
before the bid.
Chief, do you have anything for us?
I'll make it quick because everybody wants to get out of here. I want to thank council, the mayor, and everybody for the help with the festival. It didn't go quite as well as we thought it would, but it did do well, even with the food truck vendors bailing on us and the entertainment bailing on us. Officer Pate did a good job keeping the crowd entertained. I think we did fairly well. I think if we do it again next year, it will be a lot better. And we will get with the planning committee to start planning that as soon as possible.
Events committee.
I also want to give special thanks to Margret. On top of dealing with the audit, she was on time and got us purchase orders when we needed them, even with short notice. And we appreciate your patience with us through that, Margret, greatly. Other than that, policy and procedure should be about done. I've got to approve the new statewide use of force thing that came through. that will go back to Lexipol and be pushed out. And then I just have questions on 2 articles that they have that I don't believe need to be in our policy because we do not control the SWAT team and we do not control communication center. So I just got to get with him and have him take those out. Once he gets it finalized, everybody will be able to go in. At that point, Solicitor Kelly will be able to go in, review all the policies and procedures, and we can go from there. That's all I have. Oh, sorry, forgot one thing. Within the next 2 to 3 months, I know we were planning on making these 2 cruisers we have last longer than 4 years. That's my game plan, is I want these cars to last up to 200,000 miles. We're getting close to 40,000 miles. The manufacturer recommends a transmission service at 40,000 miles. That's $240 per car.
That's all I know, Steve.
Are you gonna put that on your PO request for October 15th?
I'll have that done. I just wanted to let council be aware of it, let them know why it was coming, because that's a large purchase, and I want you guys to know exactly what I'm doing,
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and how I'm doing it,
That's, yeah.
and why I'm doing it.
That's one
Can
of
we
the
just
things.
make a motion to get it done?
Gotta make sure the money's there.
Yeah, that's funds low.
And we're still a month out before they're gonna need to be done.
Yeah.
We got a meeting, we'll have people.
Yeah, if you give it to us by, we're not, obviously, you're not gonna go without doing the maintenance, but
No.
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to weigh that against some of the other asks.
yeah, that's why I said, I just wanted to make you guys aware, because they'll need to be done by the end of the year, but we still have time. They're just getting close. That's something we did not do on the prior vehicles, which is why I think we had some transmission problems. That's all I got.
All right, anybody in the audience?
Margret.
Miss Ann? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Like to second that
motion. Motion by Miss Ann, second by Dan Dalton.
No, just pointing it down.
Roll call vote.
All right, vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow. Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Kenny Jackson.
Yay.
Hey, Bob. Yeah. So you guys have these.